It's a nice physicality where it lets you know I'm here. It lets you know the game is not always a non-contact sport, but that way it's also not too much impeding into people's, kind of teetering that line, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, there are some teams that are happy to play with and enjoy playing with a little bit of contact, but always with the way the rules are written, it's kind of generally the team that wants less contact that defines how much that happens, because
Precisely.
under the rules, this is of course a non-contact sport, as that layout comes to nothing with the disc bouncing out of hands. So here is Red Phoenix's chance to bring it level at 6s.
And a great opportunity for the Red Phoenix too to catch up on that break that they missed beforehand. And it looks like, interestingly enough, there was a foul called.
It looks like it's going back. You are watching Ulti.tv's coverage of Vienna Spring Break. Very big apologies for some technical problems that we were having here at the field with a little bit of connectivity, but we have been recording the game, so we should be able to get the full game up for you on demand at a later take. As that is turned over, Benjamin Rees alongside Corey Sostre in the commentary with M.U.C looking to try and punch this in on offense, and despite the bid, the catch is going to stick, and that'll be 7-5. There's clearly some frustrated remonstrating there amongst the Red Phoenix players.
It was, even with that frustration though, that was still a solid D point by the Red Phoenix on that win. But even then the M.U.C, just to kind of get everything going, let the flow happen, pick up the disc, just be chilly with it, let things happen. And look at that smooth up line right there.
It's so much fun when you jam it. Playing chili's really boring.
It is.
But
Don't get me wrong.
Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Exactly.
But that time, it seemed to work.
If we could just shoot it every game for every point, you know I'm down for that. And here lined up too, M.U.C has an opportunity to break for half.
They do indeed. Were broken on the first point of this game. They then leveled and broke Red Phoenix at the first opportunity, and since then they've been trading up. The break a couple of points ago has really spun the game in their favour now. This pool is deep. Fielded right at the back of the end zone. Must have gone out of bounds, so it's being brought to the front. Fakes the first, goes second. There's a nice underneath pass there. Little dish off to the handler running through. They're going to poach this option on the near side. And that's where the disc goes. Now working it towards the far side of the pitch. M.U.C again trying to really stymie the rhythm and flow that Italian offenses generally thrive upon. Beautiful low release, just sitting that onto space. Where the receiver's waiting. Long arms there needed to be to snatch that away from the M.U.C defender. The young Bolognese. Can't connect on the reset. This is Munich's chance to break for half.
And what pressure from that Munich defense as well too, just kind of making these throws, having to challenge the unders, making it a hard tap. And it looks like they're calling a timeout as well right now too.
Yeah, it makes sense, know how important this break could be in the grand scheme of the game, so making sure you try and make the most of it.
Exactly.
Although we have seen the curse of the turnout on multiple occasions in this tournament.
We have.
I much prefer the term turnout to time over, because time over just implies that you've got no time left.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite convey the dismay and devastation the same way that a turnout does.
It'll be interesting to see too. I mean, I think it's still going to be person-to-person match defense, and then also probably just a
you'd
vertical
imagine
stack.
So. That's kind of been their playbook so far, the Italians.
Exactly, their bread and butter, just kind of going from there, using their athleticism to their advantage, and seeing if M.U.C can match it and score this break on them.
Yeah, so coming out the timeout, M.U.C will get the chance to set up their offense, and then the Italians will adjust their defense based on how that's set up. Then we'll be checked in. This is the 6th of 8 games so far today. Coming up after this, we've got a women's quarter-final in the next game slot before an open quarter-final. We'll end our day's coverage.
Two great bracket plays.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm hyped. Sun's out, festivities flowing. What's not to love? And so it's going to be a vertical set coming out of this timeout for M.U.C. We'll see if because do anything a little bit different defensively.
And Benji, I wouldn't be surprised here to see if maybe they had a play set up kind of maybe like we saw in the other game where the 1 and the 2 kind of split out and then have the 3 for the easy under, or even just to see maybe the 5 under and the 4 deep.
So we'll see. Checked in. Nice break around, high throw, reeled in expertly. M.U.C have done the tricky bit and they've got the disc moving. It's stagnated a little bit. Hand block, but you've got to catch your Ds. And unfortunately for M.U.C, they can't capitalise on it.
The Frisbee powers that be gave the D anyway, so.
Turnout strikes again. Big wind up, but the deep shot never comes. Instead, it's thrown underneath.
And now the Red Phoenix with an opportunity to redeem themselves with a high throw.
Well reeled in, under a little bit of contact. Both players up, a little apology there as well. Good to see. Sportsmanship showing through. And punched in for the slightly underwhelmingly celebrated goal. I think because they know that they still have more work to do. But it's going to count all the same. M.U.C 7, Red Phoenix 6.
And what resilience from the Red Phoenix right there to get down to their end zone, play tough defense right there to turn the D, and then also to capitalize on that mistake so that way they don't go down by even more at the half. And so now we can see M.U.C kind of coming back on offense. See if they can end it on a half, or maybe Red Phoenix can get that break.
So, if M.U.C hold here, takes us into half-time. Were Red Phoenix to break, it would take us to 7-all, Galaxy point.
Either way, very important point to see.
Every point's important when the teams seem to be this evenly matched. Someone's being called on with some water. Don't know if he's actually going to get to play or whether it's just the hydration that's needed. Must be getting cold apparently because Mike's put a shirt on.
Just as I took my jacket off.
Yeah, I know, it's because we're now getting the sun, but he's, I guess, maybe a little bit shady from the pole cam, I don't know. So, messages received, notes taken. Red Phoenix pull. Deep pull as well, but it's going to drift and sail out of this sideline. Looks like Fabulous, the women's team at the Flying Angels of Bern, have taken up residence on the sideline to our left, so I wonder if they're going to be in the next game. Fake the backhand. Going underneath. Wow, was very casual with that, despite the fact there was a player creeping over his shoulder. M.U.C now underneath. Turning, isolating the reset. Managed to get that dump off. There's going to be a quick stoppage here while they remove the disc from the other field from play.
M.U.C just running up the field right now, just kind of doing what they're sticking with, they're similar with, you know, just moving the disc kind of easily within that handler set, getting into the end zone. Here we go again.
I like the fact that they activate these dumps nice and early. Bid comes in right on the end zone line, not in just yet. Mark takes a big old munch out of that one, but the disc did not go.
You can see these Red Phoenix players just putting their bodies on the line right here to get this point, to get this stop.
Fakes the up line, goes for it at the second attempt, tries to take advantage of the face mark to sneak it into the back cone. Goal signaled as well there. Good spirit from Red Phoenix, and M.U.C will take an 8-6 lead into the second half of this game, Corey. What a game as well.
What a game it is. And that's kind of my biggest thing right now too, is just to see if the Red Phoenix has anything to say about this M.U.C kind of red zone handler set. Maybe they need to bring somebody to poach or anything along those lines, but we do know these handlers have any throw in their type of arsenal. So even if you bring a person to poach, you can have a hammer or a scooper over top. So you just want to kind of be cognizant of that as well too, and respect the person-to-person match defense.
And on that first iteration of that line, it stopped because didn't think it was going to go. But the defender stopped as well, back turned, and that's all the signal that players like these need.
Exactly.
The continuation happens, reactivates the cut, throw goes out into space, and at that point the defender has no shot if it's thrown properly, which it was, and that'll give Munich an 8-6 half-time lead. We're going to switch ends to reverse the way we were at the start of the first half, but it will mean that the Italians are receiving to begin the second half of this game. Just trying to get a little bit of a leg stretch going on, activate my muscles. It's not good being sat behind a desk all day.
If this is the computer screen I'm looking at, I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, like this is a normal desk job.
I think normal desk jobs, they make you require shoes, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm wearing my shoes.
I'm wearing my shoes as well.
Say, proper desk job. We're just hot desking. So here's the pool to begin the second half, with Red Phoenix starting on offense, down 8-6. Here's a way to open this second half with an absolutely money deep bomb. Wow. What a way to begin the second period.
And that's just what the Red Phoenix needed right there, just to kind of get their offense facilitated, get everybody pumped up to start the half, just kind of get back their head in the game and use that motivation on defense now to see if they can cause a break.
A real energizer there, you'd think, for the young Italians.
Just look at that, put on a platter.
It's not bad. Not bad at all. So, still a couple of breaks needed for Red Phoenix.
The pressure's on for both of them, yeah. If the Red Phoenix can get that break and continue that break, they can take the lead, and it's on M.U.C to kind of continue what they're doing. Don't let the advantage kind of get to them. Just play as you play, take 1 point at a time. Win your matchups, make consistent throws. Just do what you know.
Any more coaching cliches you want to throw in there, boss?
The score is fun to fun, maybe?
Oh, that's a good one. Even if you lose the point, don't lose the lesson.
Yeah?
Yeah, good. Hello. Here's a zone coming out from the Italians. Well, it looks like they're opening their box of tricks and seeing what they can throw at their German opponents here. Keep their opposition guessing, throw them out of their comfort zone a little bit slightly.
Yeah?
Don't mind it at all. Low throw. He's going to get the turn as well, right on the end zone line. Instantly turned in, and you can see that the Italians are pumped. We're level now at 8 apiece. Well, I think that zone really maybe did catch them catnapping a little bit there.
It did, and that's just kind of what they needed as well. Come off the half with a nice deep look, and then also a zone to get the easy turn on the end zone. That was beautiful. Even the tent feel, the intensity of that spike right there.
Intensity?
Yeah. They,
was that the pun you were doing?
No, that was not a pun at all. No, there you go.
No, I like it.
And so now we're back on serve. See if this M.U.C offense can get that point back.
Well, there's one of the 2 breaks that they needed to swing this game in their favour. The question now is, you've got that zone, it worked, it got you a tone. Do you stick with it, or do you maybe leave it in the locker for a little bit?
That is a great question indeed, and we'll see that answer soon.
Also, a lot of the M.U.C players are wearing M.U.C socks, which is a fashion commitment I respect.
See if we can get a pair of those.
We look like decent quality socks as well. It's a fun game.
That's what I'm saying. You need them in Frisbee.
I've become a real sock snob, so I get it.
A snox.
Snox, yeah.
And here we see the Red Phoenix asking for the zone again.
And it works. Penned them in their end zone. Tried to hammer it over the top, but the angle there is taking it always out of play. I would say should be a thumb of that direction to bring it back in bounds. Not that I never expect anyone to throw it. And now here's an opportunity for Red Phoenix to take the lead for the first time since the very first point.
We can really feel the wind picking up right here too.
Lovely little small ball there to get themselves close to the end zone. Again, they're keeping the stall count low, getting the disc moving quickly. Now they've been able to stagnate a little bit, but they find a little window into the end zone, and it's dropped. Agonizing, because it feels like they did all the hard work, and this hammer is going to be towed in. Maybe that is becoming a little bit dicey for Munich, but as long as they complete it, I'm not sure how much they mind. Finds a nice little lane there to thread that throw through. So TH is there. Again, they're really leaving this side of the field open. They're baiting them to throw those cross-pitch hammers or blades or whatever. There's a collision there, but I think it might just be a turn. There's a discussion, and turnover's going to stand, I think.
What about this zone? It is working in full effect right now.
Yeah, you almost wonder, why do they wait so long to bring it out? Maybe they were just a little bit of half-time discussion to find the right time to use it. Or, you know, back themselves, is this the game we think where we break it out?
Yeah.
Here's going to be a little pick. Just a little pick.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. There's the disc central. Oh, tried to that cheeky inside backhand, but the cutter was long gone by that point. And M.U.C. with the enormous rip, getting that inside out shape on it, and it's ripped out of the sky by Red Phoenix. Rising high there, the Italians. Nice reflexes there to make the snag. It's gone deep. This is going to take some tracking towards the back of the end zone. If this is in, it's a hell of a grab. I mean, it's a hell of a grab regardless of whether it was in or not. I think they're saying that it was out.
A valiant effort indeed, but
it must have been close either way. Apparently there was they asked the sideline, and the sideline suggested that he was out the back.
Good spirit, good spirit.
Yeah, good to accept them at this word, because especially after accept them at their word, because especially after a catch like that, he could have very, very easily said no. But that was weird.
Looked like it might have been a strip.
Yeah, or just maybe a bump on the mark there.
Yeah.
which I guess would be a strip because he had it in control. Faking the overhead. Not sure that the defence really bought that he was going to throw it though. And if they're not buying it, how useful of a fake is it?
Yeah.
Thought about the long one across pitch, but puts it back in the locker for now. Maybe not quite the right time to unleash that option. Here we go, they're attacking with a little bit of pace now. Sitting this throw out, this is going to have to require an adjustment, but it just about got there. They've made it beyond halfway now. Nice around break there. Continuation, front of the end zone. Still not in just yet. Haven't found the appropriate time to transition as yet. Can M.U.C take advantage? Can they find a free player?
And as we mentioned too before, it's just, even with that score, it still made it a little bit more complex because it had to take their handlers out a little bit more, ask a little bit more questions. But over there, overall, I think the Red Phoenix kind of cup zone right there asked a few questions out of M.U.C. They had to readjust, kind of do some other things. They tried to test some different things. They tried to throw it deep. The deep look didn't work. They tried to throw some hammers over top. It didn't work. Just kind of dribbling it this time and just playing patient and kind of having some close calls right there made it, all right, a point, excuse me.
So Red Phoenix have still not been able to recapture that lead that they gained on the very first point. M.U.C just about keeping their noses in front. 9-8 the current score, but that zone that they've brought out in this second half has really changed the nature of the contest a little bit, I think, Corey.
Yeah, I think so too. It's asking some questions out of this M.U.C offense, maybe just a different look, and like you said, just another trick out the bag.
Hey, variety is the spice of life and all that.
It is.
That and allspice, because it's all spices. I mean, obviously, come on now. It's basically cheating.
Yeah.
But I guess variety is one of those.
See Felix getting some protection from the sun. So get ready for the game.
Factor 69, probably. He's I'd say he's quite pale. He was out in Colombia a couple of weeks ago for TEP, so yeah, he's probably significantly less pasty than I.
We see here M.U.C also bringing out their own cup edition as well.
I like it. Just changing the nature of the contest. It's gone away from being kind of a physical, scrappy affair to a little bit more of tactical nuance involved. It's interesting. It's nice. It's taken maybe a little bit of time for the Bologna downfield players to adapt, but they've been able to work it through their handler set pretty effectively up until that point. But it's pinned in really tightly on the sideline here. There's going to be a travel there. Resets, gets the high release off, and this is going to flow. Should be pilfered away. Is it? Oh, well, no one got there in the end, and that's just fine for the Germans.
And as you can see right there too, Benji, it just looks like these zones are just producing some results as well too. I mean, person-to-person match defense was working well as well, but this one just seems like it's getting a turn for both teams as they're dealing with this wind.
Nice upline shot there. Continuation goes back into the center of the pitch. Good communication as one Munich player leaves it for another. Lovely inside shot onto the nose of the end zone. Thought about the high release. Yes, no! Jams it in there. Gets the force to bite. And there's a little bit of discussion, but the score's going to stand. M.U.C reopened that 2-point gap that they relinquished at the start of this half. It's M.U.C 10, Red Phoenix 8.
And as you can see right there too from the Red Phoenix offense, just kind of implementing, again, nice chilly offense, but just having that unfortunate kind of float, I should say, when they were trying to swing the disc. And that M.U.C defense implementing the zone cup right there so that way they can get that turn and then just work it up the field for the score. It's a nice break right there to get that 2-lead gap.
So roughly about 10 minutes left in this contest. With M.U.C up 10-8. Tell you what, it's a shame that this game's probably not going to go all the way to 15.
Yeah.
Barring something miraculous.
Oh, and look at the wind on that pole.
M.U.C zoning again. And he got the turns with it last point, so why not stick with it? No team's ever been more than 2 points ahead. Never really been more than one break in it either way. First, Red Phoenix were a break up. Munich got it back, then Munich were a break up. All the way up into the second half. When Red Phoenix got that break back, and now M.U.C have put themselves a break back up once more.
So we see some dribbling now too.
Yeah, on the run. Outside the end zone. Oh, what a layout! They did so brilliantly all the way up to the pitch, and they thought there was a window there, maybe a little bit unsighted through the traffic, as the defender with a heroic layout to rescue possession there for the Munich Ultimate Club.
That was just an amazing layout right there too. You could see the determination in his eyes to get there first. Oh my goodness, just came out of nowhere.
And here's M.U.C, they're looking big. This might invite a defender, and actually really good job getting up there nice and early to knock it away so they can't make it count.
Now we see the Red Phoenix offense trying to get that point back, trying to get the ship right.
They looked so good when they were on the move, just moving it so quickly that the Germans couldn't really stop it. But in the end zone, maybe they stagnated ever so slightly and they were punished. This throw is off target. So a slightly more easier gained turn that time for Munich. This one floats up, nicely snagged in with the left hand. Not far outside the end zone for Munich now, with a chance to go 2 breaks up. This will float a little bit, but reeled in easily enough. And the score is now M.U.C 11, Red Phoenix 10, with so little time left in this game. You wonder if now it's a case of they've left the Italians with too much to do.
And the breaks come in too, with a little bit less than 10 minutes left to go in the game, up by 3.
Yeah, still trying to work out who the game's going to be on this pitch next up. We'll find out for you. A, S, A, and P. But in the meantime, what a game we've got here. M.U.C 11, CUSB Red Phoenix 8. Here on LTV's coverage of Vienna Spring Break, live from Austria. Benjamin Rees alongside Corey Sostre in the commentary booth. And if you are enjoying our coverage, I remind you can watch all of the games this weekend live and on demand for free on our YouTube channel. But on the other hand, if you feel that this is that making Ultimate as free and as accessible as possible is an endeavour that you would like to support, then a reminder that you can make your way over to our Patreon page. You can find more info on our website, which is, unsurprisingly, ulti.tv. Join the Patreon there and become a patron, and for as little as a few euros a month, you can continue to help us do this as many and as broad a wider range of events as possible, and doing more pitches at those events, you know, with a kind of a better quality of equipment, more crew available. And thank you to everyone who has done so previously and already this weekend, like, for example, our newest patron, Andreas Schoenebeck.
That's what you love to see right there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your support.
It is massively appreciated. A little bit goes a long way. It means Mike can afford a shirt. He just chooses not to wear it because he's Australian. But this is kind of your first time really kind of working with us for a full weekend, and I imagine for a new person coming in, kind of the scope of all the kit is can be a little bit overwhelming.
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, it's just, you know, I come in with a little bit of knowledge about Ultimate in general, and just seeing what actually goes down behind the production scenes, just what goes into the commentary and everything along those lines, just to make the streaming possible. It's overwhelming, but it's really fun. It's really fascinating. I mean, it's a process I think everybody should see, just to see how much it really takes to go in and provide you free streaming Ultimate with great competitors and great games.
Like this one we've got here at Vienna Spring Break with M.U.C 11-8 up on Red Phoenix. Well, nearly make that 11-9, but they're not quite in the end zone just yet, and I think everyone stopped because they were expecting it to be just a little dish reset there. Done backwards, there's a pick in the end zone. That's going to stymie things slightly. The Italians will retain possession. Disc check back in. Options moving this way and that. Thinks about the little up line, doesn't like it in the end. Other options, trying to blade it over the top through a crowd of coverage. Maybe a bit of contact. A player's gone down. Felt like relatively heavily. Trying to clamber his way to his feet. Was maybe not the most well-advised of options. Some M.U.C players getting a little look at the replay on our screen, and the turnover is going to stand here to give M.U.C a chance to really create some breathing space and some separation between themselves and their opponents.
And as you can also see here too, just the Red Phoenix offense just looks like it's getting a little bit tired. I mean, again, it's a nice hot day out here in Vienna. They've been working hard, both teams have, and just seeing now that they're coming on for the second break. If the M.U.C can push it in. And look at this cross-field huck, but it doesn't return in.
No. We had one of those earlier on the third point of the game, I think. An absolute exocet from end zone to end zone. Tried to repeat the trick that time, but really difficult throw to pull off. And as you saw there, just didn't get it right.
And now we have to determine where it went out at.
I think they're going to put it out with just about level with this yellow cone. Check back in. And immediately broken into the center of the pitch. Trying to get it on the run with those throw and goes just outside the end zone. Sander taking a slightly more patient approach. On the end zone line again, and he's wide open to reduce the deficit to just 2. 11-9 the current score now.
That was just amazing. It just seemed back to back to back. Pass, 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 easy end zone.
From a Munich perspective, not great, but from a Red Phoenix perspective, it's exactly what you wanted to see. Every now and again I'll look over and there's another aeroplane that's just going into the airport that's very close by.
Wonder where that one's coming from.
It's the same colour as the flight we took, but it's of a budget Hungarian airline, which we will not name because they do not sponsor us.
We have about under 5 minutes left in the game.
It's tight. It's tight. And this is, you know, it's a really good test to come to a tournament this early in the season and play a game this close against a team that, you know, you imagine that potentially over the course of the season you might meet a few more times in, you know, more close games.
Exactly, and even if it's not the same exact team, it's a team of the same caliber, and just like you said, asking some questions and testing yourself early on.
Fakes the flick, now they're going towards this sideline.
And they're bringing out the zone again too.
Hey, it was getting you turns, why not?
Exactly.
Because that's what the Italians need, and they need them relatively sharpish.
Still no horn yet though, so let's...
At the very least, I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
zipping that one in there downfield. M.U.C have broken through the front line of that defence. Can they keep the disc moving before it sets back again? It looks like they're actually going to transition here into going into match defence. One-on-one they match up now. Oh, floats, and I thought there was maybe a bit of a flailing leg in there. Slightly unorthodox bids, which I'll say. No foul, undercut! Immaculately by the Italians.
And I think that was the same player that bid at the end of the end zone earlier too, and then that one was called out from the sidelines. But that was an immaculate bid right there. Wow.
Yep. We will absolutely delight in showing you that on the replay. Full extension, and it needed to be. But on the swing, it's caught at the second attempt, and that is a play that, you know, shows a little bit of wisdom and experience, because they've called the timeout.
Exactly. Just looking at that layout D again, oh my goodness. Full extension, got the hand in there. Oh.
Absurd. Frankly.
Yes.
A little bit absurd.
But just in a game like this, I expect nothing less. I mean, they've both given as much as they can just to get the points, the win. It's been a phenomenal game so far.
So from the players who are making their way over to our sideline, I'm assuming that the next game we've got in the women's semi-final is going to be Fabulous versus Mainzelmädchen. Yeah, we have already seen the Germans today. Part of a good fight, but came up just short in their game against... Isn't it terrible that I've forgotten already? No, Troubles.
Not at all. At this point, it's just, we're going. About to be 6 games of the day.
Yeah.
If we had a 9 to 5, 5 o'clock, we'd be over by now. But hey, we're working overtime for you guys.
This is the thing. Every time when I was still living and working in London, at my old job, I'd go back into the office after a tournament week or weekend, and people would go, "How was your holiday?" And I'd always have to say, "Not a holiday." I work longer hours than I do here. Not a holiday. And it is the best job in the world.
It is. It's my first day on the job, and I love it so far.
I'm glad. One of us.
And it just looks like the timeout's coming to a conclusion right now, getting the setup for the Red Phoenix players.
Nick's found some sunscreen that I don't need because I'm wearing a jumper and jeans, but thank you for the offer. Going to be a horizontal setup.
And this might be the first of the game we've seen too, right?
And they're poaching it. And in fact, they're not just poaching it, they're coming out relatively zonally. And now they're melting pretty quickly into a match. Red Phoenix adapt well. A couple of players coming into the same space. One pulls out of that cut slightly and then clears through. Towards this sideline. And there's a stoppage. Just waiting now for the disc to be checked back in. Looks at the break for a long time, doesn't get it. Eventually tries to sneak the inside through, not much room, and there's going to be a call.
Uncontested as well, too. Oh, and the disc floated just a little bit too much for the turn.
Yeah, you can see the intensity in this game written across all the faces of the players on the pitch and on the sideline.
Because not only are points becoming a factor too, but the time is becoming a big factor as well.
Yeah, we've hit 70 minutes now. We're over that. Trying to marshal players into the backfield. Still real crispness and quality about all these throws. Faking a scooper, instead just a little push pop. M.U.C don't look flustered at all.
No?
They've been in these situations before. So have their opponents, but just maybe not quite to the same degree. Not with the same frequency over the same period of time. Into the end zone. Again, another big, heavy contact. Players down in a heap.
We just hope both players are all right as well.
Yeah. Yeah, looked like maybe he just tried, I'm not sure whether he tried to pull out of it here and just couldn't quite do so, and they both, yeah, knocked each other pretty heavily.
He seems to be getting up. It's a good sign.
Yeah, gingerly, but he's making his way off the field solidly enough, which is good. He'll of course get an injury replacement from the sideline.
Glad to see both players are okay.
That is always the most important thing.
And as play resumes too, we're seeing back on the end zone line as well.
Check back in, as you mentioned, right on the end zone line. The little break will put them up 12-9 in, I believe, game to 13. I'm just hearing the players confirming that. So we might be a little bit delayed in getting the next game started. Our big water container disappeared at some point and has not made its return.
It is not. That's not ours.
It'll be somewhere.
We hope.
Yeah, just getting confirmation that it will be the women's quarterfinal between Fabulous and Mention up next on this screen.
As we see here, we're getting ready for the pull.
Yeah, you can tell there's a real deliberation in both sides about what line they want to have out, how do they want to approach it, all of that sort of thing. And I think that's bounds, just about in bounds, because I haven't seen him signal for the brick.
I think so too. That was a beautiful pull if it bounced in. Even if it didn't, it was a beautiful pull.
They're going to bring it to the front. And it's checked in. Really putting pressure on the resets. It's floating towards the back corner.
As you always see with those high floating ones too, you're just always like, there might be a chance for Callie right there, Callahan.
And the wind pushed it a little bit too far, but M.U.C will scarcely get a better chance to end this game. On the end zone line. Got a player isolated in space. makes the cut to the front of the end zone, and that will do it. Brilliant game between two relatively evenly matched sides, back and forth throughout, and in the end, M.U.C had that little bit extra to take home a narrow victory. We're going to wrap things up quickly now to get things ready for the women's quarterfinals. So your final score here at Vienna Spring Break is M.U.C 13, CUSB Red Phoenix 9, and we will see you on the other side.